Yep. Yep. You got me? Sound good?
Is this fine? All right. Ready, Coach?
Yes, sir.
Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Just wrapped up player interviews here at Mamou High School. Now I get to sit down with year 2 head football coach of the Mamou Green Demons, Coach LaQuinta Lamb. Coach, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for being a great friend, opening your doors here. First off, I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate the opportunity to give our kids some type of exposure, man. It means a lot.
And for you allowing my son to be here today, knowing that some things came up and you allowed him in your locker room, so thank you for that also.
I told you, man, I think that's the best thing to see a father with his son, man. I appreciate you for being in his life, you know?
Yeah. First off, Coach, let's talk about the players' interview. How do you think they represented the program here at Mamou? You got a good group there. You got some characters in that group for sure. I had a good time, a lot of fun. Big things are in store.
Yes, sir. Oh, no, it's just a good group of kids, man. They're special. I think they held it down for Big Mamou. You know, it's just new for a lot of these kids, man. You know, some of them, they just feel like, you know, they lack self-confidence. And I just, you know, doing things like this and the things we did this summer, I feel like I want them to be better versions of themselves. So just give them some confidence, man. And once they got that, the sky's the limit for those kids, you know?
Every year is different. How have you grown as a coach since you've stepping into the role as head football coach?
Well, I mean, the first thing was I was thankful for the 3-7 season because although we were staring 6-4 in the face, I personally felt like winning those games would have not done nothing for me as a coach. You know, there's a lot of guys that look at the record and think, oh, well, you know, you should have did this. And then you got, you know, your negative guys, you shouldn't be playing this game. And I know what it takes. I know what competing looks like. And you compete long enough, you at some point become a winner. So that's just kind of, you know, where we're at in year 2 is we saw the product we put on the field with like 9 first-year football players. Mm-hmm. And we competed. And that was enough for me as a first-year coach. And now our goal for 2025 is finish. Everything finish the play, finish the practice, finish the drive, finish. And that's our goal. That's what I think my growth was coming into year 2 was not taking the little things for granted and finishing. That was my focus.
Week 10, sent the seniors off with a win. What did they mean to you knowing that they were your first group of seniors and the special group of seniors you have this year?
I remember Paul Trosclair used to tell us in order to be successful, you needed back-to-back-to-back classes. That's what started those deep playoff runs. The 15 seniors we graduated last year, if you give us 7 or 8 of them guys back, you can close your eyes and pick any 7 or 8. You bring them guys back with this senior group, this junior group, like it you know, people will laugh if I said, oh, we would have enough to go play with the Sterlingtons, Oak Groves, the Union Parishes, and the St. James. But realistically, we would have the dudes to do that and play with anybody in the state. When I say anybody, I mean anybody. And a lot of that has to do with the coaching staff and how hard these guys play for the coaches. But, man, that senior class was phenomenal. I'll never forget those guys. We had one, Kagan Richard, one of our cornerback / running back. He left for the Air Force. He left for the Air Force this morning. You had first-year football player Shea Collins signed a full ride to Nichols. You know, it's a lot of these kids, man. 2 of them, you know, already in plants, making more than I'm making, you know. So it's good, man. It was awesome to coach those guys, and I'm just happy that God put me in their lives for a short season, you know. I was happy to meet them.
Wrap up week 10. Kids go off to play other sports. How soon did you get back to work?
So we didn't have an off season. The schedule was made. I didn't have athletic PE in the spring. So from January to May, I couldn't have my guys. Thankfully, most of them played multiple sports. But as a team, we didn't have nothing as a team. So when we hired Coach Taylor from Port Barry, our focus was explosiveness and heavy lifting. And there were some days where the kids' bodies was hurting and but they ended up responding well, and that was another good sign that things were going good for this particular group. But we hit the ground running 6 a.m. I was leaving my house every morning in Lafayette at 4:30. Coach attendance was amazing. You know, coaches showed up, the kids showed up. And even when we didn't have a lot of kids there, your top 22, 23 varsity guys were there. And I think that says a lot about how much they care for us and this program and the direction we're going. So whenever we started, the end of May, they were here. We hit the ground running. We competed well all June and did a few team camps in July. And, you know, like I've been telling them, no complaints. You know, we have no complaints right now.
You've seen this group all summer. I asked them the question if they thought they won the summer. Now I'm going to ask you, did they win the summer?
Absolutely. And I say that because your better kids never missed. They didn't miss. And, you know, if they did miss, they was texting Coach Holmes. He was driving from his house, 20 minutes from his house to come open up for them to get an hour workout in. Like that right there, again, it's another indication of the direction we're going. So, yeah, I think we won across the board. You know, having 5 coaches here every day in the summer, when last year I only had 2, 3. We go out there to practice today, we got 12 coaches out there. Last year we had 3 or 4. You know, I mean, everything is going in the right direction. So, yeah. I think we won the summer, absolutely.
Your biggest emphasis this summer, what was it?
Growth. Don't be content with being a loser. Grow. Like, just, if you're going to be here, maximize your time while you're here. And that was what we did a lot of. We challenged the kids while they were here. And I think they got better. We did real good. I believe we had a real good summer.
Coach, walk me through these first couple weeks with the transition of kids going back to school, the heat that we deal with in South Louisiana, and the momentum that you need to go into a scrimmage week, a jamboree week, a week 1. Talk to me about those 3 things that matter.
Well, the first thing is to establish the focus. If I got to stop talking because y'all clowning around, I'm going to lose my mind. Stop. I think it's to establish first to have understanding of what it's going to take. The obstacles that are in front of us. Everybody's in the same boat. Nobody's really putting pads on until next week. That's most of the teams that didn't have a spring. But if you had a spring, you got to pad up next week. But our focus is just controlling what we can control. It's hot for everybody. You know, we all hot. One of the bigger things that I think we're going to focus more on with this coaching staff and this group is we're going to talk and teach more football. Last year, it was more go play, go get some reps. And I feel like it caused us to play slower because although we were playing fast, we wasn't playing right. So now it's going to be, well, you know what you're doing all the time. You just got to control your effort. So that's our biggest thing right now. You know, going up and leading into the fall scrimmages, do the things we can control. You know, we want to finish drives. We obviously want to come out healthy. We want to execute and do the things that we're good at. That's the things we're going to focus on going into these next 3 weeks.
What's the most difficult thing you had to overcome a year ago?
As the first-year head football coach, I didn't realize how many obstacles went into being a head football coach on a high school level. See, I was fortunate enough at a middle school where I had great administration, great people, it was a great club, and then not realizing different, aspects of what goes into this job. And it was I don't know what the hardest thing was, but for me, I would say it was the constant challenges and how I responded to them. I don't want to give the individual challenges, but it was several things that I had to fight, and it required a lot. But I was fortunate enough to overcome and bounce back. And small things like not having enough coaches at practice when we started. Now I believe that's fixed. That's one of the things that's better already. But it was just, to me, it was just the understanding of not really knowing what goes into what I had been praying for. And I still don't have it all figured out, but the things I struggled with in year one, I think we fixed about 70% of them in year two.
What did you lean on when things weren't going well?
Lee Isaac, Corey Holmes, Elijah Jason, Brody Walker, the coaches. I could keep naming them guys. Sam Terry, Joe Perron. Just quality guys, man. My brothers, Drake Simon. Just those guys they were always in a fight with me. It was never a time I felt alone being around there. Like a lot of these coaches, they like to hire football coaches. I want to hire good men. Mm-hmm. You can coach football, you can teach football, that's cool. But I want good men around these kids. I want the kind of guys that I would want around my son. So that was my focus, and I think I did a good job surrounding us by good men. And, I wouldn't change these guys for nothing in the world.
How do you define growth beyond just the wins and losses?
Oh, that's what I think. That's what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. I think it's my brother says this all the time. When you do everything right, the scoreboard take care of itself. Yeah. So you're showing up every day. Your attitude's great. Your best players are showing up. They're constantly making each other better. The coaches are showing up. They're texting the group chat. They're asking questions about play 46. Coach, go back and check this out. I don't think so-and-so. That tells me right there that y'all invested, y'all listening. It's the same with the kids, though. So, that's the growth that I'm looking for. Watching guys clean the weight room, like when you don't have to tell them that. Like we have housekeeping rules. Them guys are telling guys like, bro, don't walk on a piece of trash. I don't care what grade you in, pick that up. That's growth. These kids they never had, a lot of them don't have an understanding of what goes into being a complete high school football player. And now they're starting to see that, hey, this is not a 2-hour thing after school every day. This is something I got to do for 15 weeks. Sometimes it's year round, but it's an investment when you're in season. And it's just as much as an investment in off season. So that's what I think growth means to us and where we at with it.
How do you make sure mistakes early in a game turn into lessons mid-game?
So I think football is I think those are the best teachers. And I'm sure most coaches might feel like this, or play callers. You get a false start or a holding penalty. Every coach in the state's probably thinking get the punt team ready. No matter how good your offense is, if you're 1st and 25 or 1st and 20, you're starting to drive behind the sticks, you're in the bind. So you want to fix those things early on. So, I just think you show them, you hold them accountable individually and you make them understand you made a mistake and you caused the team. It might be the difference in the game. Like, for example, every time I put on the Bazille film, I criticize myself because I don't think I did a good job play calling on 2-point conversions. Okay. I don't think I did a good job. We lost 18-20. And I could have been better as a play caller. I was a first-year play caller, other than what I did on the middle school level. But I feel like some of those things are things that I could work on and get better at, But for the kids, it's you make a mistake, you need to learn from it. You teach them on the spot, and then you let them see it. And if you're doing it right, hopefully they'll go out there and get it back for you.
Coach?
No, I'm good.
Coach, what does a prepared team look like beyond just knowing what the plays are on a Friday night?
I think a prepared team is a team that's just going to play fast, play hard, and play with confidence. And a lot of that has to do more with the confidence they have in the coaches. Because you could talk scheme till you blue in the face, but if a kid don't trust you, it don't mean nothing. You know, it just seems like you're just talking because you know more than they know. Mm-hmm. But if you put a lot of love behind that, and, you know, like I said, I think we got one of the best inside linebackers in the state. He's undersized. He's difficult in his own way, but he's a dude. You know, he's a, you know, he was number 5 in the state last year in tackles, and he's like, you can't do that, Peyton. And it's like, shh. You look back, he made the last 7 tackles. You know, doing it his way, and it's like, you learn to fix that, and it worked, man. And I guess that's just what coaching is, learning to adapt to your kids and all that good stuff. But, you know, that's some of the things that just is kind of coming with it, you know.
Year 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe your players understand the why behind the X's and O's better now?
I do. And I say that because our offensive backfield is the 4x1 team. Our backups are the 100 meter, like the other guys that run track and play basketball and baseball. There's a bunch of other athletes. And so, like I tell them, you know, you got the spread guys, they're going to throw it right away till you out the slide. I'm going to put the ball in your hand in the backfield. You know, I'm going to let you be a dude right now. You know, and they understand that because people say, oh, you wing T. Well, there's a lot of things we don't do that the Eunice High Bobcats do. We don't follow the wing T. You know, there's a lot of things we do, but we don't do. We try to follow some of the principles of the stuff we do, but we don't run all wing T stuff. So for what we do with the offense we have, I think the kids love it. I think they appreciate it. And I believe even after last year, after the losing, they saw us score points, you know. So I think they believe in it, you know.
You're going to see a lot of different offenses this year.
Mm-hmm.
How do you prepare your team if someone throws something unexpected at you on a Friday night?
Well, if you haven't seen the formation first, hopefully you call a timeout and try to adjust to it, you know, coach up on the fly. I think that's the first adjustment. But if you get caught without no timeouts and there's nothing you can do, then you tell your dudes, hey, every coach yell this. You yell at this to the D-line, you yell this to the linebackers, expect this. And if everybody's yelling one of the things we're yelling is going to happen, and hopefully, you know, it gets to their brain quick enough and we can make a play, you know.
A wing T guy.
Mm-hmm.
But do you build your scheme around your players or make your players fit your system?
It's always about the players.
Yeah.
It's always about
you got some
the players.
guys on the outside.
It's always about the players.
And you got some tailbacks that can go.
We run hard, man. The thing we struggled with last year was we didn't understand how to block.
Okay.
And today we did that for about 40 minutes, just stepping and attacking. And I'm excited. You know, one thing that I learned about the wing T is you got 3 backs. One's blocking, one's faking, one's getting the ball. Mm-hmm. So if all 3 of them is doing everything right and your quarterback is selling everything, then it's hard to stop, man. It's tough.
Read something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do a lot of reading. Read something that says depth-wise could be a concern this year. You got some major guys that could play some major downs, mm-hmm. but the depth-wise could be something that you're looking at.
Well, I think a lot of schools feel like that, mm-hmm. and I say that because I don't know how many schools in the state could say, "Oh, we got 40 kids right now ready to go."
Yeah,
I don't think anybody can say that. I think most schools might have 15 to 18 that can go, and you might have 4 or 5 of them going both ways. For us, you know, Coach Joel DeSalle told me, you know, one of his old tactics he did, you know, when he was here at Mamou, set his coaching staff down and said, find our top 18 guys.
There you go.
Find your top 18 guys, and the 3 or 4 that's close, those are the ones you start trying to plug in, and now you got 21 to 22 kids. So to answer your question, I think we have valuable backups mm-hmm. at pretty much every position. You know, and I can say that confidently because we've had, shout out to Mamou and the rec leagues and what these guys are doing in the community, because I'm telling you, we've had some good football classes come through Mamou. since I got here in January of 24. Like, we've had back-to-back-to-back good classes. I ain't talking 4 or 5 individual kids. I'm talking 5 and 6 linemen, a quarterback in each group, big old running backs, tight ends huge already. I mean, you have some men that there's some dudes that are going to be dudes, and they're coachable because of the guys who had them before they get here. So Mamou football, baseball, athletic program, I think, is going in the right direction from what the community guys have been doing. So I think that depth is going to fix itself. You know, I think right now, I don't think week 1 we got enough backups to go out there. But as we keep going and guys keep getting better, I think if we take critical injuries, we have some guys that's going to go play hard at least. You know.
Yeah. How do you avoid over-adjusting and just stick to your identity?
Man, I learned from Hall of Famers, man. I learned from Hall of Famers. Coach Trosser said the most. You got to be comfortable in your base. You know, I remember it's funny because I got so many stories with him. We're losing by 2 or 3 scores, and he's still calling Buck right. Run the trap, run the buck. And his favorite thing was never abandon what you do. So it's the same on the defensive end. He would always say, Coach, you got to be in your base. You know, you don't want to start guessing and guinea pigging, and you already down 4 scores. You start doing stuff you don't practice, then how long before you give up another score? Now you're down 5 scores. So, man, I'm a big believer, man. Line up in your base. You know, people say it all the time. You need a little bit of luck sometime. You know, hopefully one of them 11 guys can make a play. You know, that's the beauty of football. It ain't just one guy, you know. So,
How much freedom do you give your players to make adjustments on the field?
The smart football players, like you know, we have about 4 of them guys on the defense. Very, very intelligent. We have 4 guys that are going to be 4-year starters on the defense. So they have a lot of varsity experience. And, you know, a lot of the games we've played in, them kids have done some very impressive stuff. So I do think the dudes who showed up worked hard. I'm real big on how much time they spend on huddle. So it's one of them ones where when I go look and I see 3 starters got 15 hours on huddle just on 2 films, I'm impressed with that. Mm-hmm. And then you go look and you got guys that's 13 minutes in, and it's like, you know, you don't take it as serious. So we harp on that. That's part of our homework. You know, we expect them to ask questions from the huddle and talk about those things because that's the things that I think that's going to help us get over the hump.
How rewarding is it on a Friday night when it finally clicks for a player?
Oh man, it's that's kind of what we do the job for. I think that's the best part of the job is to see them because to me it teaches a real life lesson. Mm-hmm. That you said if I show up every day and I work hard, it's going to pay off. I didn't tell you when, but that Friday night that you're referring to, that's payday. If you see it, then everything else we say after that, they're going to believe it because I've seen it now. Coach showed it to me. So I think, man, that's probably the best feeling. Is seeing them get their check on Friday night.
How do you emphasize finishing blocks and playing through the whistle?
So that was one of the things we weren't good at last year. Again, we had 5 first-year football players on the offense last year. That was real rough for us. But one of the things that I think we're going to do this year is we're not going to just try to get in people's way. We're going to go through people. That's what our focus is going to be. We want to go through people. You know, a lot of the wing T concepts and things people have done is north, east and west. So we're going to have a lot of that. We're going to have a lot of north and south. You know, we want to go through people. That's what we want to do. So that's going to fix the standing around or the play going away from me. I'm going to just rip and cut off the back on the backside. No. We going through that guy. You know, so that's our identity for this year.
What's the most important thing a team has to do in those first couple minutes of a game?
So you have to feel like you belong in the game.
Okay, I like that.
Because, it's one of them ones where if you told somebody you get in the ring with Mike Tyson for a minute, most men would be like, yeah, it's cooked, it's over with. But if you get somebody that's built to say, I'm going to give this man the best 30 seconds I got, and you still might get whipped, you might lose. But if you give something back, you might make it out that minute. But if you go in there, So you got to feel like you belong.
Okay.
And that's what everything you do in life. You got to feel like you belong. And I think, like even the Lafayette High game, we did everything right that week. We prepared. Their best two guys scored. They kicked 2 field goals. They scored 5 touchdowns. They beat us 42-0. And we did everything right. We went practice at Acadiana High. It's like we did people out of their student section that was there laughing at us, mocking us. We couldn't catch a ball in pregame, and so.
Okay.
So I think that's the biggest thing is when your kids believe that they're supposed to be here, the sky's the limit, man.
Let's flip the question then.
Mm-hmm.
What separates a good team from a great one in those final 5 minutes?
Well, I think it boils down to that right there. Boils down to what's your excuse, and what I'm saying, what I'm getting at by that is, you have the nice weight room, you have a great coaching staff, been together a while, you have some of the best players in the state. You have everything to make you a champion or a winner. Why not go win the game? There's no reason for you not to go win the game. Now, you might be fighting back and somebody's playing as hard as you, but that's not enough to beat me. I deserve to win. I worked harder than you. So, I think that's what it boils down to is having the resources to become a winner. And once you have that and you believe that, that's the ones that typically win. You can talk about upsets, but a lot of them upsets be sometimes just the football guys and luck were on your side, and some of the better programs just get overlook, people sometimes. But I think if you're doing everything right, you're supposed to be battle tested. But that's what makes your program. Like we play in Abbeville. Mind you, I'm a first-year play caller. The whole drive to win the game, we went empty. It's not something we do. And coach, all we running is out-breaking routes to our sideline. And even on the middle school level, coach would say, "Lamb, you never panic. Because the clock's going to run out at some point. I can't live with myself if I feel like I choked on the kids." So we did, and I told Coach Holmes, you go empty right gun, flood. Got an arrow, got the out, we got the 9 all comeback, and we just rolling out, throwing it to the right side. 60 yards, we did that. Sometimes you just need a little bit of luck, and you just got to stick with it, I guess, But I think the better team, that night won. Abbeville was very competitive, got a lot of kids. That game easily could have went either way. It was.
Good. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
I remember.
Take me to halftime then.
Abbeville?
No, take me to halftime. Your approach. Are you more a technical guy or emotional reset? Take me to halftime.
I try to take all my emotions out of everything. The first thing I like to do is talk to the coaches to make sure their mindset's right, because if you got coaches losing at halftime, the likelihood of them going to explain something to the kid probably won't happen. So my first focus is to make sure the adults are calm and understanding what we're trying to do. I learned this at Hughes now. You meet with your coaches at halftime and you explain your priorities and talk about what's what. And you get your guy from out the press box to kind of tell you what you think is going on and those adjustments. And you got offense in one room, defense in the other room. You guys going both ways. You give them a few minutes with offense, a few minutes with defense, and you just go try to put a better product on the field.
What's one area in execution that this team has to improve to flip those close games?
We don't have a punter. The punter stand on the bus. We're not bringing the punter. And that's our goal. We're too big, we're too fast, we're too physical for you to tell me I can't fall for 3.5 yards every time I have the ball. Okay. So that's how we're going to practice. We're going to fix inside run. We're going to best on best. Those top 16, 18 guys I was talking about, that's the guys we're rolling out the inside. So that's our focus right there. Like, just smash them out. We want to run at you. We're going to run at you, we're going to run through you. Like, that's what our focus is going to be. All of that to tag, and we're not doing it. We went through year one. The kids know now, they saw it, they believe in it. So that's my focus. That's what I want for the guys to do.
Your ideal tempo of a game, what is it?
I don't want to be on defense. I don't want the defense on the field. You know, my buddy, one of my best friends, put around there, tell me, I always say that. If we could put a 10-minute drive together, 18 play, and go punch it in and get 6 out of it, 7 on extra point, it's beautiful. You know, because now they're down 7, they're going to panic and going to rush. Now we get the ball right back. Now you're in a position to go 14-0. You know, that's what anybody wants. So, and you know, we were so slow last year offensively. I think we got 13 delayed game penalties because we were so slow. You know, and you know, we're gonna fix that. You know, but we're gonna do it right this time. So.
What about multi-sport athletes, sir? Are you a big
I love them.
guy?
I love them. I love them because I feel like somebody else would coach you, would fuss you, would hold you accountable. One of the best things that has happened to Mamou football is Dylan Duplessis. What he's done with the baseball program and those kids that come back, it's night and day. Like Ethan McCauley, like he 3-year starter, leader. I mean, that kid coming out of baseball last year was like, I felt for him because I feel like he didn't have the sophomore year had 88 times and led the team. His junior year, he dropped, he had like 65. Didn't miss a game, but he had, he suffered a terrible loss. Lost grandma, and I know that was hard on him. But coming off a rough year in baseball, he showed up, put 15 pounds on, don't miss. The best kids to be around. And I see him in the spring game, and I'm like, that's the kid that was a sophomore, they talked about they talent. Like, he got his mojo back. But Coach Dylan Duplessis played a role in that, helping him find himself. He didn't quit and give up on that. And now he's over here willing to do the same thing for football, and that's going to carry into baseball. So I think when you have that type of story and you coaches working together like that, I think that's, when you hear these kind of stories, I think that's what, those type of programs, that's the ones that make the programs run. And I think, what he's doing with the baseball program and the kids coming to us. And look, man, I'm not just targeting baseball, but a lot of those kids that have helped us have got, to be under Coach Dillon, because that's what Mamou breed. It's a baseball, football time, and the basketball program is doing also. Coach JB is doing great, but those athletes are, that's probably your better athletic kids, but the dudes that push your program are those baseball, football kids that just know how to work on. Like I heard some of them said that Coach Dillon ran until they couldn't run no more, and he got everything out of them. Like, I love to hear that because that guy's out here with us every day with the quarterbacks, He has the same goal for those kids that he has in baseball, and that's to succeed. So, I like that for the direction of the program.
To the practice field, I'm sure year one was more hands-on teaching-wise. Is year two similar, or is it more high-intensity reps out there?
We want to do a lot of teaching. I want to do a lot of teaching. I want to explain and have kids understand. I want to walk through. I want to teach, walk through, half speed, full speed. If we can continue to teach things like that, and yes, the more you're talking and understanding, hopefully by week 2 or 3, you can finish the rest of the year off with high intensity reps, because kids now understand. That's what I kind of want to start the year off with a lot of teaching and understanding.
Your biggest question more going into the year, what is it?
Honestly, man, I don't have one. I've always said no complaints. I don't have one. I don't know. Question mark. I mean, it's well, I guess every coach thinks of this. Me and you just kind of talked about it a little bit. When the lights come on, I don't know what's going to happen. We played last year high. You know, I heard some of the talk, some of the people that, oh, that's fine, man, that game, like, you're not even supposed to win that game. You're not supposed to play that game. It's like, how do you expect to build? I'm not teaching these kids nothing. I'm running around saying, oh, I won 6 games. When am I learning? That don't help nobody. That's individual things. I'm not about me. I'm about team. I'm about building. But we showed up to Lafayette High. People don't know this because they don't see it. It's 3rd and 17, the first series of the game. My best DB get a PI. Then they get inside the 10, they get snapped the ball empty to the best receiver. They put him at quarterback for $4. Now we got to stop their view. If that don't happen, who knows what happens? We get the ball, we march him down, and we get about 35, 40 yards of offense. We get a false start on 3rd down. Now we got to punt the ball. Because, you know, the percentage of converting that 3rd and long is slim now. You know, it's easy to convert a 33. Well, we don't get that, we got to punt the ball. They go score again. We should return the second kickoff. You know, so I'm explaining all that because it's like, I thought we had a better shot. And when you look at the film, we overthrew 2 deep balls. The crisscross should have broke, you know. It looked right there with slants in motion. And even as a first-year play caller, they were doing a lot of slanting I wasn't ready for. I didn't have nothing in the bag to say counter it. You know, I had to get better than that. That's something I looked at in the mirror like, man, how do I fix them slanting motion all night? You know, it's like, even if I run this, they do this. You know, so I had to get better at that. But we had our chances. I mean, I thought the final could at least been 42-21, something like that, because we had chances to score. But I guess my biggest question mark would be, whenever it's go time, and you know, you flip that headset on, and then the lights are on, and that ball goes up, what's going to happen? Nobody knows.
At this time, if you can introduce your 2025 coaching staff.
Coach Little Duplessis, quarterbacks. Coach Kevin Manning, running backs. Coach Tristan Billow, offensive line. Coach Christopher Kern, wide receivers. I float, you know, around every position. You know, I call the offense, but I'm with the quarterbacks. I rotate every day, just kind of watching, making sure that certain things are getting done. On the defensive side, Coach Corey Holmes, defensive coordinator, defensive backs. Coach Lee Isaac, inside linebackers coach. Coach Kurt Taylor, outside linebackers coach. Coach Drake Simon, defensive line coach. Am I missing somebody? Coach Messiah, coach help with the defensive line. He's a Florida guy. He does anything. It's my brother, man. Anything I need help with, he got me. Already, he's a jack of all trades. So, you know, I'm sure there's probably a few other guys that help the program, man. But as far as position, you know, those are the guys that we have positions for.
Okay. Any new upgrades to talk about? Any fundraisers that have been wrapped up, or fundraisers that's going to happen? Maybe a booster club here that you'd like to mention?
Oh yeah, shout out to our booster club. Those guys are awesome. We had our alumni tournament last weekend, something like that. Not this weekend, but the weekend before. Pretty cool, man. The energy was up. You know, we thought the rain was going to stop us, but we got after. We got to get some good games in. No, man, it's some genuine people in this community, man. And, you know, they love it and they excited. You know, so. But as far as fundraisers go, we usually have a fall fundraiser, but I think time kind of caught up to us. So we may wait to do something around October, whenever the weather kind of starts to change and kind of push up towards the back end. You know, what I try not to do is burn other sports out. We share a lot of athletes. You know, and it's you know, you got parents donating money right now, and you got school clothes, and you got so you just start burning them out, man. I don't think that's fair. So, you know, we're gonna try to hold off probably around till October, but not too close to you know, Christmas.
Coach, what's something people outside the program may not understand about the process that you're building here?
I think the biggest poison in the world is people's opinion.
Yep.
And I say that because it's free, everybody want to get it. Everybody want to get it. You know, you got your guys that say, oh, you don't know the football. Cool. You got them kind of guys. You got them guys that, you know, saying that not enough football will win. But it's hard. It is hard to tune out some of that noise because you know you're doing the right thing. I know what we're doing for the community at Mamou and for the kids in this football program. Nobody can make me feel bad about the direction we're going. Nobody. Nobody can come say you're not doing a good job. Because it ain't about me. It's about getting these kids up every day for 5:50. They're jogging and sprinting through the gate to make sure they're stretching for 6 o'clock. And we just went 3-7. What are you here for? Because you want to build a program. You want to be a part of something. You know, we played 29 different teams this summer, I believe, with 707. And we got better. We got after it. You know, some guy, 707 don't transfer Friday nights. It don't. But confidence does. You know, so my quarterback threw, I think he threw 9 interceptions, 10 interceptions this summer, like 55 touchdowns. If you forget about the 10 interceptions and you go 5 for 1 every time, then that's what you got to do on Friday nights. If you give me 5 in the end zone and you only throw 1 to the other team, shoot, I believe our defense is going to be good enough to get it where we need to be. So to answer the question completely, I don't even care about them guys' opinions no more because I think we're doing it the right way. I've said this to the people that don't believe. Oh, you should have beat Jack Hill. Yeah, you should. But what did I learn? Like, I wouldn't have learned anything in that game. You should have beat Crowley. You should have beat Villaplat. Mamou hasn't won 5 games since the 08 season. You know, if I come in the first year and go 6-4, and I'm walking around with my chest out, well, I don't want to listen to these Hall of Famers and these good coaches that has called and checked in on me. I don't want to listen no more because I'm big time. I'm 6-4. I had a playoff game and I'm one man. Nah. I was too immature to handle that type of success. I wasn't ready for that type of success. So God didn't give it to me. You know, and I stand firm on that. You know, it is what it is. Do I think we could have won? Absolutely. But then I go back to a kid, mama coming in the cafeteria, taking that kid out. Now you missing the kid tonight. Or somebody, you know, making comments. My best 2 kids in the basketball game cranking in the 7th quarter. You know, bad things happen, dropping passes. You don't deserve to win those games. You know, so I could care less about what people are saying as far as what we're not doing right in Mamou. Tell them come show up in the summer in June, July, and watch that varsity guys there every morning grinding. No complaints, showing up, being respectful and positive. That's the part that they don't want to acknowledge that. They just want to laugh and look on their phones on Friday nights and laugh at them. Mamou lost again. But they don't see the real work we put in. So.
What lessons do you hope your players carry with them long after the pads come off?
Our real life, man, just love and compassion. And I think that's the guy that I was talking about, surrounding myself by good men. You know, like you know, man, Coach Lee, you know, he drives every day from Mamou, don't miss. And from Mamou, you don't miss. Shows up, and when he, you know, like what he brings and what Coach Holmes, everybody else brings something different. And I think the one thing we're all teaching these kids, and you kind of heard some of them say, the thing that they're going to miss the most when they graduate is the coaches. You don't know what these kids' home lives are like. So if you can be the best person in their life today, for the couple hours you with them, that's enough. That's enough. So I do believe that they're going to take love and compassion with them. You know, like love your neighbor. You know, be there for them, be supportive, help. You know, now when it's go time, it's time to crush somebody, you can still do that. You know, but you know, just be compassionate about other people, man. I think that love kind of, that's my personal opinion about life in general. You know?
Let's stay with the player-related thing here. Mm-hmm. Seeing one of your players be able to walk again, what did that mean?
Man, you know, thinking about that kid individually, when I first got to Mamou High, he was the first kid I said. I remember actually Corey Holmes said, does he play football? He was like, nah, bro, he don't play. And just me being who I am, charismatic, laughing, clowning, just like, you know, because I was them kids, you know. I mean, Coach Jason Falk at Cecilia, man, he would come beg me every day to go play football without losing high. But I had different choices. I was making bad decisions. I wasn't ready to make that commitment, so I didn't play. You know, and he left to go to Cecilia the next year, and now we talk like once a week, you know, we check in. He's a good role model to me, man. And, you know, to like what I did for that kid was what Coach Falk and other guys did for me. I stayed on and showed up to his locker. I met with him, got his number, called FaceTime, random FaceTime. I won't see you, eating that okra on the sofa, calm and Joseph bad. Let you know I was you before. And when you start building those relationships, as I say, that 9 first-year football players out there, they never played before. They playing because they love Coach Lamb, or they made a relationship with Coach Lee and these other new coaches, And so when they come out, it's awesome. And when the situation happened, it broke us because he had just suffered a tough loss right before that with his cousin, and the community was already hurting. So that loss would have been real bad for everybody. And being this is year 13 for me, I'm starting year 13. I've lost maybe 10, I think it's 10 kids that I've coached, and my heart wasn't ready that I couldn't handle it. Not as a head coach of a high school. You do it AAU basketball and they're a little younger, but I don't think my heart can handle that right now. But to see him, we text a lot. So I watched his growth along the way. Every video he would send, and they just kind of cobbled it up together. And I was already, aware of the pace that it was going, but to see the steps, man, it broke my heart, but it also brought joy to my heart because, I'm happy that he was able to get back to that. It was tough, but I'm happy.
Let's stick down the student route here for a little bit. Foreign exchange student from Italy coming in. How cool is that?
Man, that's the guy. I tell you, it was funny, man. His energy is so good. I like to crack jokes. I like to build relationships with the kids. I asked him if he was the man. He said, no, sir. But he's the man. And it's fun. I think the kids have been welcoming him with open arms. I know Thursday when we get to school is going to be a lot of fun for him because they've been showing him so much love at practice. And, he was down there with the DBs and the receivers and Coach Holmes. And I looked up, Coach Holmes got a huge 40-yard point. So we'll be excited to kind of see if that's an avenue we can help us in. But it's fun to have him,
Sticking down the players' routes, let's go to the quarterback.
Okay.
Brand new starter, coming in this year, taking over from a senior. Talk to me about, since he's become the guy, what have you seen from his growth, leadership-wise, and commanding the huddle, and all the little small details that matter? What have you seen from the quarterback?
Jay is the guy that these old coaches talk about. He's the guy where everybody wish they could coach and cuss and they lose their mind. He's just going to look at you with no emotion. He's so easy to coach. Even when he's having a bad day, it's like he goes through one ear and out the other, and he just figures out where to fix it. But the good thing about Jay is he has great parents, great grandparents. His friends, his teammates is very, very supportive. He got good uncles in his life. He's a family-oriented kid, so not much rattles him. And being in his office, one of the things I worry about the most is his footwork on to actually run plays and hand the ball off, because the play snap. It starts with him. After we get the snap, you need to know where the ball goes and your footwork to hand the ball off. He's got so much better at that. And so throwing the football, his ball play, we can throw it about 51, 52 yards. Accurate. He got decent ball placement, man. And you say he got guys that can go get it. So I'm excited for him. I think he's gonna be ready. I think he's the hit piece. If people talk about 3 and 7 and 6 and 15 and the big big outside backer we have, people talk about that. And it's like that's cool, but we have more than that. So I think Jaden is gonna light it up for us this year.
Okay. Let's go to a couple of guys you just mentioned then. Your backfield.
Okay.
Spring game wise, I got my first glimpse of it. That's going to be something to see this upcoming season. You get to see it every single day. That backfield reminds me about some of the former teams you coached back in the day, isn't it?
It's crazy. We were getting ready for Capital in the semifinals in 2018, and Coach Tross showed us our backfield, and we was real small. Coach Brody, he's helping us this year. He's on that team. He said if I take a picture and send it to JT Curtis, he's gonna laugh at me because the teams he brought to the Dome in 97, 98, he got some backfield a lot bigger than the kids we had, Simeon, Dion, Droopy, and Avery Lee. Just some small kids. And when I went out state championship, we put Bobcat Magic because we were small and we played hard and we were very, it was just a magical season that year. And I look at this group now and I'm like, this kid never ran the ball before. You know, he just don't understand yet. But he's light and fast. He's a big old body. You know, we can teach him. And then you go look at what 3 and 7 did. I heard 7 last year. I better gave the kid the ball. You know, so then I'm moving from wing to fullback, and he ran the speed sweep and crisscross well. Put him at fullback, you give the ball 80% of the night. You got 3 who I think arguably is the best kid in the state. I will argue that with anybody. You know, he's huge. He's good all around. He's running to his junior year, got 2,800 all-purpose yards, got 22 touchdowns, like 75 to 80 tackles on defense already. Never played a snap in his junior year yet. And he's out of he lines us up right all the time. And he's easy to coach, you know, because he loves football. So when you got a guy like that, it's hard to not, you know, back for that guy. But no, man, I mean, the backfield we played bumpy. Coach Hillman said the same thing. Coach Jacardi said the same thing at North Side. Trying to stop that for 4 quarters is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Like I said, we're big, we're fast, we're physical, and once we learn how to continuously block for one another, you know, the future's bright for this group, man. It's going to be special. You know, we got to stay healthy, and we can't let our head get big. You know, we still got to play games. You know, I'm sure everybody feels like it's about that group. So this, what I'm saying, really means nothing until the lights come on and you back it up. So, but that's what I'm excited about. And that's just the guys in offense. Yeah. You know, defense, we had the 10 kids we had to the table, and I never start defense. You know, so the only 2 other guys we're missing, you take the quarterback out, we're missing 2 more D-line. You know, Eli starts on the D-line. You know, 2 more guys, you take the quarterback out, put 2 more guys, it's not starting 11. You know, all men, they love each other, they trust each other, all 4 of our backers was here, the whole secondary was here, and I was Mitch Ashton, the wingback, the big kid. But, nah, man, them dudes are, I can keep naming them. And I, you know, I wanted to bring so many kids up here tonight because I wanted them all to get their recognition and let them know this is not just about 3 and 7 and these other names people have been talking about. That's not what this is about. Because 3 wouldn't be able to do what he do if he didn't have other people around him to compliment his style of play. You know, the same with 7. You know, he needed 3 on his side, you know, to get the yards he got last year. So I think you put all that together, you have a very, very good team. We're going to roll out about 1,300 pounds in the O-line. Got a big old tight end, gained about 15 pounds of muscle this summer. You know, so I'm excited to see what we look like, you know, in a couple of weeks. So.
Take me to the receiver room and talk to me about you are in a wing T style offense and the opportunities may come at different points in the game. Talk to me about the mental side that those guys had to really learn how to take on the role and learn to be the best blockers on the field. Learn when 3rd downs matter, we're coming to you.
Right, that's the biggest thing is that you have to accept blocking. And the guy we lost last year, he didn't care about the ball coming, but he wanted to go crack somebody. Yeah. He wanted to go there level because he knew if Coach see me doing this, he's going to reward me with the 9 ball. Coach will throw the fade to me if he see me do this. And so I think that's one of the things that we need to focus more on the next 2 weeks is getting better blocking, not just with the receivers, the backs too. But once we got about 5 or 6 guys who can roll out there wide receiver 1. Our best receiver is an offensive backfield. And he's not just the best because of what he do, he's the best because he's a football player. He understands stuff. And a lot of our success this summer was because of him being knowledgeable about football. So the crazy, his best friend, his right-hand man, is our wide receiver 1. That's Mr. Dion Sanders. So, he just got to get comfortable with going through his body around and actually, because we want to go run through people. So once he does that, I think things are going to become easy for him. And he has the confidence. He can outrun those people. He can catch the football, but I don't need you to do that, every time. We need you to go hit somebody. So we're working on that. We did a lot of blocking drills today, and we'll keep doing it the rest of this weekend. See if it translates when we put pads on it. So, we got some guys who do it like that.
1,300 pounds, you said. Talk to me about how important it is for your offensive line to be this, not just physical.
That's the reason we think they're disciplined. And, now, one of the things that I learned early in my career when I was 18 years old, coaching, when guys break the 100, we need to call out technique. That lets my quarterback at the back, 4-4-4. Hey, head up, I'm going to cover. When you start communicating, you do it every play, even when I'm tired, that right there makes a better offensive line. Knowing, understanding, knowing you get on the board and you say, hey, this is a 3-man surface. This is a 4-man surface. What do we want to run the ball? To the 3-man surface. So they get that. So they get to the huddle, they know that, hey, we want to do this here. It's fun, but no, those guys, I think, are bought in, and I think they're going to be pretty smart to execute what it is we need to do this year.
Take me to the other side of football. How's those conversations been like here in the locker room with the defensive staff, and what have you seen out there? I mean, it's just day one of practice, but you've seen a lot this summer. I walked out there for 7-on-7 over there in unison. That secondary, my God.
When them guys are healthy, they can run with anybody. Coach Corey, for one, the kids love him. Him and Coach Leach, the guys on the defensive side of the ball, they run through a brick wall for them guys. So that's a good sign already. And they take coaches. So one of them guys move their cool and throw the hat, they're going to respond well to that because, man, the coach don't always jump me like this. So because you got that, it's kind of hard not to have a good defense. We're going to rotate a lot of you. I know we and Coach are talking about some different packages. Scheme-wise, he come from under a good coach, Coach Justin Charles at Pineville. Shout out to Coach JC. So he come from under some good people, and we're the same age, so a lot of our thoughts are more like kid-based as far as how can we execute, how can we put this kid in a position to be successful. And that's what we did in the spring game. We didn't know Bunky was coming till the morning up. And they come off a semi-final run, and when I knew things were getting better, when I went to 3, I said, hey, Bunky's coming. He was like, bet, let him come. We with that. We want that. And then his energy turned into everybody else's energy, and now got one kid I'm scared of Bunky. So I'm like, well, I'm excited now because last year I said, oh, Church Point coming to town. We intimidated. So it's all good signs, man, but the defense really, like a lot of them offensive backfield guys on the other side. So they how you say, they don't go move, man. They having fun. Coach Holmes he got some different scheme stuff for them, and he's making it fun for them, and that's all you can ask for the kids. You got to go out and execute, and once you do that, then everything else becomes easy. But I think our 4 linebackers are amazing. You keep bragging about him college, but I just remember him. Just the back out the backfield against the north side, he come through McCarty, sticks him so hard. I'm like, that's what football is like. I can do this for 4 quarters. People in front. You look at the guy on the back end, and we suck on turf, man. We fall out on turf so much. So the 2 scores that Bunky scored on us, we fell out both times. Just covering, just turf and stay out, man. But it's cool, it happens, So, I'm excited for those guys, man. We can roll our first throw against anybody, and I'm expecting 6, for us to get the punt the ball. That's what we're trying to do. We get them to believe they can do anything, so sky's the limit for the Chiefs.
Let's go to the spring game then. Mm-hmm. I left the spring game that day, and I was talking about Mamou football. Mm-hmm. That has to click to you that things are trending. Mm-hmm. Your takeaways from that day?
Man, I had to do a better job. So we want to run the book. So what we got from Northside was they gave us a 50. Okay, and it was kind of weird because the way they played their D-line. So they gave us a 5 on the backside, but he was slanting inside. So we had different plays, like the speed shoot was good away from us. But to the strength, to the one take they had, my right tackle kept going to the inside backer. So we want to run Buck and G, we missing the nose guard. The nose guard slammed in the backfield, making the play on the Buck or the G that came out. So we had to fix the right tackle missing the down ball. So we fixed that. We fixed it against Bucky. And the guy that's running that is 3 running that, and 7's running the G. 3's running the Buck, 7 running the G. So we give them the plays to good backs, good football players. So we had to fix some of those things with that. And that was early on. That was our first time actually getting to go get somebody else. Yeah. And another thing was we only practiced, out of the days we had, We only went live 5 days. And to watch the defense play like they played and fly around like they did, that was a good sign. Offensively, we were very, very physical against both teams. And I think both Coach Jacardi and Coach Jimmy would agree with that. So, it's all good signs, man, that the kids are not just playing off of me, they're playing off of themselves. And they're believing and they're investing in what we're doing. So it's fun, man.
I called everyone on the way home and said, you better not sleep on Mamou this year after what I just saw. Fast forward, scrimmage for North Pavilion is coming up. Jamboree, you're hosting right here.
Yes, sir.
What do you want to see from that spring game to this scrimmage? What do you want to see differently?
Well, the first thing I want to see us is actually finish, like I kind of mentioned earlier. Finish, execute, finish drives, come out healthy. I want to see the coaches get more confidence in their guys, because I think that's what's going to start the direction of where we're going. Because in the scrimmage, you get to see things that you hadn't seen. That you're looking for more things in the scrimmage than you want to find in practice. So the scrimmage is controlled, so you get to see potential and who can do what and how kids can help. But Coach Moore, man, is a good friend of mine, a real good football coach. He's one of the best play callers in the area for sure. I just want to make sure we can tackle the gear. We can tackle inside gear, we can rally some pitch and quarterback. I think that's going to be fun. Offensively, our goal ain't going to change. We want to run through people. We want to run through people. I want to see us be able to execute that and just have fun while doing it, Above all, come out healthy. I want this season I want to see how magical this season can really be, so.
Your thoughts on your 2025 schedule?
As in what? Wins and losses?
Nope, just your overall thoughts. First 3 games are at home, then you go through a 3 straight road game stretch, followed by another 3-game home stand. Your overall thoughts about this schedule, non-district slate, and your district slate?
I feel like, to me, it's a perfect schedule. And I say it's perfect because it gives you various offenses to prepare for. Because of what we do, people don't see it often, and 2 or 3 days is not enough to prepare for it, especially when you got a good backfield. So I feel people are going to line up a bunch of different ways. That's going to help me as a play caller. Sharpen some of my tools as well. I think the schedule works perfectly. I like scheduling something. Because, people don't remember before Westgate started winning, they was taking that 3-hour road, the holiday evangel, going up there, going to compete. Because how else you build something? And, that's what, because, even the 26, we already talking about some quality programs. And it's just going to show you that the fact that we can get quality programs on the phone, that shows you that we're doing something right. So this schedule, I think the district is very, very balanced. I've always said that you have your good teams and you have your teams that struggle. But if you go look at the teams that struggle, they have the most turnover rate. We don't have a lot of turnover rate. Coach Ellis been there. Coach John Craig left Church Point, but Coach Poole took over, who was the coordinator for a couple of years. So you didn't lose much when Coach JC left. And then you got Coach Oakland and Iota. It's them guys have been there. They have a system. They got 80 guys in that program. They know what it takes. So them guys show up, get off the bus. They feel like, we got it done. We're going to win this game because we've done it every year. So you got to let our guys know, like, we can't do that. We can't do that every year. So I think the schedule works out. Crowley, Pine Prairie, Bill Flack, those are games that Mamou and Mamou could play in those games. We got to go dig a little bit harder and a little bit longer for those other games. So I like it. Same, Basil, tough one in Dale Gilbert, real good friend of mine. Coach together, my brother. They have a good program over there, real big kids, very disciplined and tough. That's a game I actually like having because it made us physical. They physically abused us last year. You was there. It was tough for them, man. It was hard to overcome, but I like that game. I like that for us. And then, the gauntlet, the game that everybody's waiting to laugh at, and make a mockery of Mamou because it's finally last year high. So So when the kids talk about how we gonna shock people and you know we gonna give after everything we got, you can expect it. You know?
How do you make sure a team doesn't peak too early in the season?
You can control it. You know, coaches get excited, they want to jump the gun, they want to do this, they want to do that. I was a student of the game, man. I got on the phone, I traveled across the state, I met with different coaches, and I seen what winning coaches do. Me and Coach Holmes was talking about how he was worried about the defense in the spring game because we would do like a lot of hitting in the spring game. And when he let them dogs loose and the kids was like flying around, and I just kind of told him, I said, like, that's how you know when you're doing something better. So in order to, to not let them, peak too early, man, you just kind of, you treat every Monday the same. You do a lot of teaching, a lot of teaching, a lot of teaching. Tuesday and Wednesday, you're doing a lot of record. And if you didn't get enough record on Tuesday and Wednesday and to understand it with them, then you go out and get on Thursday. I'm not a big believer in Thursday practices because the way your kids act on a Thursday, it kind of carries into a Friday. So you got some goofing around going through your special team period and you're 2 minutes old and you got cutting up. And I promise you, Friday night, it ain't going to be pretty. The football guys won't reward it. I don't care who you play. You might win the game, but you might lose something very significant along the way. So, I think you just police it as best as you can. You treat your Mondays like your Mondays and you follow your system and be very consistent and persistent throughout your journey to get to where you need to be. I think that's how it is.
What's the difference in a team who works hard and a team who competes every day?
So I think it's, if you compete every day, you're competing because you want to win. If you're working hard every day, you could be working hard every day because that's an individual goal, or it can be something that was taught. Being a competitor is something you have to do. Working hard can be something that you were taught. I get up, my dad taught me how to do this, and my granddad taught me how to do this. That could be something that's not. But being a competitor, that's something that's in you. I think when you're just a natural competitor, it's hard to stop. I was watching 2 coaches today play rock, paper, scissors, for the front seat of my truck. When we get out of the break, we go and grab one. It's just 2 of the most competitive guys I know. Like that. And it's funny, but it's true. No matter how old you get, it's just who you are. So.
Okay, bring it over there. What small details in preparation make a big difference on a Friday night?
Oh man, shoot. Little things like trying to watch a movie, trying to build culture. We're trying to watch a movie, you got kids clowning around, joking, not really caring. Those little things matter. Kids in the cafeteria, you're not focusing. You got to bring your own discipline, man. Those things that don't transfer over, man, is hard. So that's some of the things that we struggled with last year. Parents come and get, like being mad at kids and kids not doing the right thing, getting sent home and clowning around in the parking lot, putting the team in bonds, man. And those things happen on Fridays before the game. This ain't no Tuesday or Wednesday during the week. This is, like on game day. So now you got to go tell the kid who never got watching his family, you want them to you don't want to the game, you might get up, man.
Why is body language so important on Friday night?
Man, body language is important during the week. Like, to get the kids to tell you, one of the things we talk about today is, I hear you suck your teeth, or I see you picking your hands up, doing all that. That's losers. Losers do that. You're telling me right now, you're not willing to do what it takes to be successful. Oh, I just did that. Well, you're obviously not trying to go above and beyond and get it done. We don't need it. So, I think that body language is very critical throughout the whole week. It's even worse on Friday nights,
How do you get your players to understand not just what to do, but why they are doing it?
Teaching, talking, explaining, investment. I come in here on the Promethean board. Sometimes these guys got in the car, films pulled up. They ask me questions. What wrong with that? What's St. All that? They just never heard of some of these schools, And You know, and you ask them about Cali could be hard. You know, they want to learn. So that's all good signs, man, that kids are trying to be invested and pick up what you put down. So,
What's the key to winning third down and getting off the field on third down?
the key to winning the third down is, to me, a situation. I learned that last year. So if I'm 2nd and 8, you know, in the middle, I need to get 4 or 5 yards and make sure I get the ball to the left hand so I can run something back to the wide side. You know, those things are the keys to win those third down on offense. Defensively, it's the little things like watch the ball. You know your assignment, right? And that was something we sucked at this summer in 707. We gave up plays on 4th down every time, but I think it was because we got so lax that I'm expecting you to make it play. You gonna make it. I can chill out this time. You gonna say this, and we just didn't do things right on 4th down because I think that was our mindset. But you gotta get on the field on 3rd down, and I just think that you know, simulate some pressure some kind of way, little slant, little stunt. You know, find ways to make people uncomfortable. You know, that's what I think it is. You know, like I said, I think offensively it's situational. Trying to get the ball where you want it, so you try to put it in your dude's hands to although something that's guaranteed. Yeah. Defensively, man, make somebody uncomfortable. You know, make their offense uncomfortable.
What do you look for from your leaders in those final minutes?
Composure, grit, toughness, man. Just the willingness to compete. You know, because the clock's gonna run out at some point. You know, how you feel afterwards, you can determine that right now. Those are the type of things you tell them. Like, if you know you're about to give us everything you got, then you ain't gonna shed a tear, you ain't gonna cry. If you feel like you gonna panic on us, tell us. You know, but we gonna get you out there and you're gonna execute. And you know, that's what. And that's what I'm excited for about our kids. I think they want to close games out. I think we're going to fight and compete with these teams for 4 quarters like I know we can. Once we get there, I'm hoping to close games, you know, talent is not fake.
Describe an unsung hero and who could take on that role this year.
Player-wise?
Yes, sir.
Man, we got so many guys, man, but I would have to say the young buck, man. The brand sophomore, man, linebacker. He's a kid can do anything. He can put him at nose guard, put him at tight end, put him at running back, put him at inside backer. Only thing I wouldn't feel comfortable doing is put him at cornerback. And it's not because he couldn't play it. He would just be so aggressive that he'd be smoked off the line every time. But he's a guy that, man, he's special. He's special, man. He's somebody that I'm looking forward to coaching. I think he's going to be one because he was able to be around back-to-back good senior classes. So for him to come in with the type of grit he has as a freshman, I mean, he's going to be a sophomore now, but man, he's special. I think he's going to be one. And outside him, you know, Rain, Grim, you know, they're both sophomores. I think together they can do some good stuff. I think they can do some good stuff together, you know.
How do you celebrate small wins to keep morale and focus high?
I'm gonna turn up. I need John. You can't make me not appreciate what we doing here. You know, like other schools bought actually they didn't have to post that, but we did because that's important to this culture. That's important to our kids. So you can't make me not talk about other people got foreign exchange students in their program. Guess what? We gonna show ours. We're gonna use the platform for what it's made for. And we're gonna get people excited about the direction we're going and what it takes to be part of something special. So we want to celebrate every little victory, every time. These kids deserve it. They deserve it.
Most rewarding part of coaching high school football?
Man, is the relationship built. It's to see that kid, we got one right now I'm dealing with right now who has all the potential in the world, and he lacks confidence. And when you see him put it together, you're like, man, this kid's special. So I'm waiting for him to get his head right. But he is definitely going to be somebody who we count on, and who we can say, hey, we need that kid. He can help us. I just think it's rewarding to see growth in kids and to see certain kids make that jump, man. I think it's the best part of the job. You know?
What do you hope you players learn through the lens of football and faith?
Good, bad things happen to good people all the time. And I think football, that teaches you a football and a life lesson. You could be the better team, you could be 10-0 and losing the first round of the playoffs to a team 5-5. Because bad things happen to good people all the time. So you can never abandon or neglect the process or overlook it because it's going to catch up to you. And for these kids, I want them to, see that the sacrifice you make, the drive that I make every day, and the drive that Coach Lee make every day, and when they call Coach Holmes and he's driving from his house every day, that's not normal. That's sacrifices we're making because we want you to be a better version of yourself. So those are the things that I think is good, football and faith is that, no matter how hard you work or how good you do things, it doesn't always mean you're going to get the result you want.
Is there a moment in your career where you can recall why you do this?
Oh man, that's every day. Because the moment those moments stop happening, I won't do this one. A question was asked to one of our kids earlier, and it broke my heart. They had 9 other kids gave an answer about who's the biggest supporter, and one of my kids didn't say that. That broke my heart. That broke my heart because ain't no kid, no high school kid should have to say that. And that touched me. So, I'm thankful that I have guys around me that pour into that kid, into his life, and then he trusts and he loves, and I don't like that for kids, man. That bothers me, real bad. So, the moment these type of moments stop happening, I'm 31 years old, got a couple of degrees. I've been in the game a while now, man. So I feel like I can hang it up and go do something else and still be productive while I'm still young. So, the moment kids start to feel like they don't need, what I'm bringing to them, then I'm out, man. But as long as you got kids willing to listen and they're reciprocating back that love to you that you're pouring on to them, I'm here for the long haul, man. That's what I'm here for, man. So you want an example of a moment? I can, just say, got to call it Vegas. Kid that his senior year, he didn't play no other year, they kept running him off. Come out there senior year, play football, and me and him was real close when he was a basketball kid. Well, Colin was tough. And I remember he came out there week 1 and he had like a headband on his son. Was Trotsky there hammering him, told him not to wear it. Don't wear it. He would run us every day, running kids, because you're not listening. Well, almost every other senior started coming out with headbands. And it was kind of one of them ones where he was like, okay, they obviously want this kid out here. So when I watched Coach Strauss have some of those situations, it just made me think to myself, like this, and he told us that. He said, we're going to win more games now because these kids are brought in. The unity among us is tough. So Colin Vegas now, who played 1 year high school football, is a cornerback for the Washington Commanders draft. First year football player. Never been around nobody we're going. And when I see Zamari and Keontae, it's one of the first things I think of. It's just grind. I mean, he didn't have the story where he would play at LSU, and then he went to ULM. He didn't start off right away, and he worked to get to where he's at, and now he's a professional athlete. It ain't easy, but it's worth it, man. And he always had that dog. He was the kid that wanted to shoot 100 free throws at practice, man. Best player in the district in basketball. He gave football a shot and it changed his life. And that's one of those moments where I know I was a vessel to that because I was the basketball coach. I was no more as a basketball coach than a football coach. So when that kid decided to come out, I was the guy that had to continuously go to him and say, you got this, fight through it, don't worry about it, you're good. And sure enough, he won defensive MVP of the state. You know, he had like 7 forced fumbles, you know, first year. Come down late lumber, and he was the leader. And I see a lot of that in some of these kids in my movie. They don't know that because they're kids. But you know, you've been doing it long enough, and I'm not a veteran by any means, but I've been around some good dudes long enough. I know what goes into it. So that's just one of those special moments that I was happy to be around.
What are you most excited for this season? What are you most proud of from this year's group?
Their grit, man. They showed up. They're grit, they're hungry. They're tired of losing. That's the best thing. They don't want to lose anymore. You know, so I'm excited for them, and I want to see how well they're going to play. Another thing I'm excited about is having my son on the sideline. You know, getting him to be a ball boy, having him around. We're going with kids, so I feel for him. You don't get to be around a lot of the kids other than when he's at school because, you don't come to school here. But, I look forward to that, getting him around us more. Coach Lee bring his son around, and Coach Messiah, other coaches bring their kids. And I want my kid around too, so I'm looking forward to him getting around with this, this fall. That's something I'm looking forward to as a dad. Football, man, I just want to see the kids get everything they work hard for. So that's one of my favorites.
What's the message to the alumni, to the community as we head into 2025?
I told y'all last year that the product I put on the field last year was going to be my worst product. And I wasn't talking individual talent, I was talking as a unit. I don't know if this is going to be our best team, but we're going to compete. And just thank y'all for sticking by us and being invested into this community. And by any means, I'm not trying to sound like we got all the answers I got to figure out because we can just as well go always get them. But the process and the journey that we on, and the coaches and the kids and the administration and the town of Mamou has been on, everybody's on the same page. Once you establish that, anything that it can be scary. So, I just want to thank the people that invested in the junior high coach. I hadn't proven nothing. I had won nothing. I hadn't accomplished nothing. There were so many people in this community that heard how good I did in units. They fought to get me here, and I owe this community some success. So if y'all shut the city down at 5 o'clock, because y'all want to get to the stadium early, that's what I'm going for. I want to shut the city down at 5 and we crank it up on some people. And that's what I feel this community deserves.
I never take these opportunities for granted. You opening the door here today and also allowing me to come stream a football game. Talk to me about Under Lights coming to cover your kids and coming to cover our game this year.
Man, you came for homecoming.
I come for the probably game.
You came for kind of Thursday night. It was a close homecoming connection. Man, it feels good because it feels like you're taking a chance on not just me, but these kids. And so to have you choose, 300 schools in the state that play football, so for you to be willing to come to Mamou, that says a lot about your investment in me and our friendship, and the fact that you think we're doing good enough that you can put a decent product, on the field. You got our Brazil game over there. You can't catch us against Crowley. Brazil beat us by 2 points and Crowley beat us by 4 points. So, I thought we was competitive in both of those games, But it's good. It's good to have recognition, man. It's good to have people invested in what it is you're building. So that's pretty awesome, man. And I'm looking forward to this relationship and you coming back to town. We're gonna make sure when we can come, we sell for homecoming. Last week, my new alumni, last year we cooked, we did feed this man. So we gotta put that gravy on him. So we gotta make sure we get this man some food for homecoming. So all of you supporters, we gotta get some food for you. Make it finalized. We got to finalize the schedule, who's going to play who, and how long the quarter's going to be, and all that good stuff. Once we finalize that, we might get Under the Lights over here for that. So if y'all want to put that gravy on for homecoming, the jamboree, put that gravy on the fellas. I know some of y'all watching this. My guy said we didn't feed him last time, so we got to take care of him if he come back. So.
It was a tough loss.
And it was, sure. All of them felt like that.
We're going to get in the winning ways.
We will. We working.
I'll talk to you after the game.
Yeah. You will have one to talk to me.
That's it.
I believe that.
Close us out today with the quote of the day.
How do you say that? Oh,
Whatever's on your heart right now.
I mean, I'm such a, I don't want to say a philosopher, but I have a lot of things I believe in, but one of the things that I think it's accurate, man, it's not a very popular one, it's just one that I feel you never value winning until you appreciate losing. And I think once we appreciated a lot of losses last year, and it's time for us to value how to do things the right way. And that's just real life talk. I hope that these kids and these coaches and the people that is invested in me and believe in me continue to show me their support and love for me, and I think the sky's the limit.
Final words, my friend.
It's go time. Pad up next week. We got first five at home. Fall scrimmage, love a million over here. Then Jamboree the following week. Week 1, 2, and 3 at home. Some big old dates. We're going to roll for 3 weeks and come back. Homecoming against Bill Platt. Big Norway, then Big Iota the next week, week 9. And we go to Pine Ferry for week 10. We got 6 home games, so come out and support, come catch us, and hopefully we can give you all a show.
It is. Ladies and gentlemen, first glimpse of Mamou football here in 2025, August 21st, right here at Mamou High School. Come see this year's team. Going to be something to talk about for weeks to come on our Wednesday night show.
Yep.
We're going to cut up, and I'm going to make sure to push Mamou football this year. I don't care what the guys say. Wednesday night on Saturday, let them talk. I know Lee's going to be watching. Coach, good luck. Keep doing what you're doing. Staff is incredible. Players I met today, I'm very honored to be here, and can't wait to see what's in store.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you in the fall.
Yes, sir. Thank you.